Hello everyone, Cool Dude Cobra here, back again with episode 6 of Choose Your Character. We're in the second half of the first season already, and I just want to say thank you guys for sticking with the series for this long. It's a huge honor. I really enjoy doing these videos, and I like that other people are able to enjoy them as well. Today's episode, we will be talking about the Pokemon Zoroark, suggested by Ruckus Fox on my YouTube channel. If you want to leave a character in the comments below for me to discuss a moveset for in the future, feel free to do so, and I might just do it in the future. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Thank you. So yeah, as stated earlier, today we will be discussing the potential moveset of the Pokemon Zoroark from Gen 5, Pokemon Black and Pokemon White. Now, out of all the Pokemon generations, the only two Pokemon regions to not have a Pokemon representing them in Smash are Unova and Hoenn. And in my opinion, I don't think that either of those series are going to get a rep any time soon, just because I feel like the time has honestly passed for that chance. But if they were to happen, I could definitely see Zoroark being the representative of Gen 5. The reason for this is because he was pushed pretty hard before and during the game, like the events of the game. If I recall, before the game came out, or even right after it came out, there was a mystery event in which you could get a free Zoroark, or Zorua, I mean. And on top of that, the Pokemon Zoroark plays a really huge story in the events of Black and White 1, as he's the main companion Pokemon of the evil team member N. Also, I forgot to point this out, I'm sorry, but once again, as usual, I'm going off of notes rather than a script, so it might be a bit jumbled here and there. So yeah, I know this person personally in real life, and I think that he would definitely get enjoyment of Zoroark being in Smash. So yeah, without further ado, let's start jumping in straight to his moveset. For his default costume, it would just be basic Zoroark, how you see him in all the games. He would have his colors based on how he appears in all the games, with the red and black mane. However, he would have alternate costumes based on his shiny palette, a palette based on the Pokemon Mienshao, one based on Sock, one based on Throw, and palettes based off of the Pokemon Golurk, Emboar, and finally his last palette would be inspired by his trainer N. For his stance, Zoroark would stand in a way similar to how he does in the X and Y through Sun and Moon Pokemon games in his 3D render. I don't know if you'll get the best view of this in the gameplay, because it'll probably just be gameplay from Pokemon Showdown, because I don't have a capture card for my 3DS. But you can see how he looks in the back, probably, so yeah, that's a good idea. For his idle animations, the first one would have Zoroark looking left and right around him, and then he would just resume his default stance. For his second idle animation, Zoroark would kind of shake his mane, which would cause his hair to swing back and forth on either side of him. And then, as usual, he would return to his default stance. By the way, I also have hiccups, so please forgive me of that as well. And for his victory screens, one of them would have Zoroark appearing out of a dark mist before posing for the camera, and the announcer saying his name. The second one would have Zoroark slashing at the air a few times before disappearing in a puff of haze. And the third and final victory screen is one that I think is pretty unique. If any of you have played Overwatch, there's a character in it called Sombra, where if they get the play of the game essentially, it'll start to play the animation for the highlight at the beginning of... Well, it's kind of hard to explain, but essentially you just interrupt the other person's replay. So what I'm getting at is, for Zoroark's third victory screen, it would start with the victory screen of the last player KO'd, but then about halfway through it, the screen would fill with fog and Zoroark would leap out of the smoke. So take, for example, you're fighting a Mario, and you defeat him. He would start by, it would say, the winner is, or Mario wins, but about halfway through his victory screen, it would be replaced with Zoroark jumping out of a purple mist. I probably didn't explain that the best, so if you have a question, let me know. So, sorry about that. I'm recording this pretty late at night, so it's not at the top of my... not the best quality I've done so far. And I think that's all the cosmetic stuff wrapped up, so we're gonna actually get into his moveset now. I'm pretty excited about his moveset. In terms of a lot of his basic attacks, I couldn't think of anything too memorable. He has a 3-hit jab combo with no rapid jab, and the hits consist of a quick claw swipe with the right claw, a quick slash with the left claw, and then a crosswise cut with both claws forward. This is just a basic cut combo, nothing else to it. It's just 3 hits, about 12% damage combined, and then a knockaway. That's about all there is to it. For his forward tilt, Zoroark uses Bite. He just kind of leans forward and bites at the opponent very lightly. This attack does decent damage and can launch opponents pretty far, but it has very little range. So it's gonna be kind of hard to hit, but it'll be worth it. It's pretty basic overall. The animation's nothing too special, just him leaning forward. Moving on to his up tilt. This is another pretty basic move with little to no inspiration. What it is Zoroark just kind of quickly slashes upward in an upward arc, and upon doing so, he knocks the opponent very slightly upward. This can combo into itself at low percentages, so you can chain it over and over again, kind of like how Mario up tilt can, at least in Smash 4. It's pretty basic, comes out pretty quick, but it's useful. And for his down tilt, Zoroark performs a quick slash with his claw at the opponent's feet. It's his quickest tilt attack, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. And for his dash attack, Zoroark would have kind of a... he would just kind of run forward and slash with both of his claws. This would have very good launching power, but it would have a lot of startup, which is usual for most dash attacks. So yeah, let's get into his smash attacks. For his forward smash, Zoroark uses Night Slash, and when he uses this, an animation plays similar to the one in the 3D modeled Pokemon games, where he just cuts at the opponent with a blade of darkness. There's not much to it. It has average range, and it can knock the opponent away pretty far. But yeah, it's just a basic F smash. Up tilt, Zoroark does a kind of spring, not up tilt, I'm sorry. Up smash, Zoroark jumps into the air and kind of cuts around a few times, knocking opponents directly upward. The move that I could best compare this to would probably be Link's up smash, where it hits multiple times and launches the opponent upward. However, the range is nowhere nearly as good because he does not have a sword. And finishing off his smash attacks with down smash. For this one, Zoroark just slashes either side of him using his claws. This is basically just a hit either side of you smash attack. If you look at Wolf's down smash, it would basically be the same move. Not much else to it. And yeah, with that, we're done with all of his grounded normal attacks. So let's move on to his aerial attacks. So yeah, starting with his aerials, with his neutral air. For this attack, Zoroark just kind of spins himself around in a ball-like shape. He just curls up and does a kind of a slow spin around. This attack does not have very much combo potential. It's kind of like Pikachu's neutral air from Smash 4, or Pichu's in this game. I mean, I guess it does have some combo potential now that I think about it, but yeah, it's going to be good for edge guarding and it'll just basically turns you into an aerial hitbox, essentially. Protects you. It's kind of hard to explain, I guess. I'm half asleep, sorry about that. But moving on to his forward air. For this attack, Zoroark just slashes forward 2 times with both of his claws. This is a multi-hit aerial. It hits the opponent twice, one for each claw slash, and if he hits the second one, it launches them pretty far forward. It deals decent damage as well, doing about 12 to 14%. So yeah, it's a pretty good combo aerial if you can chain it multiple times, but other than that, it's just a pretty good move overall. Moving on to his up air. For this attack, Zoroark performs a paraswizzle type of move in midair, ending with an upwards cut. When I say Paraswizzle, I mean something similar to Samus's up air, where she puts her legs up and spins around. Except with this, Zoroark would kind of cut at the opponent upwards as soon as he ended the attack, if that makes sense. This attack would be more of a damage dealer rather than a kill move, but it can kill if you're high enough. So yeah, it's just another overall decent move. And finally, with his aerials, we have his down air. And for this move, Zoroark slashes below him 2 to 5 times. This move is Fury Swipes, by the way, and the number of slashes is random each use. So one time you may have 2, the other time you may have 4, sometimes you'll even have 5. More slashes equals more damage, kind of like how Villager has his down air where he uses the turnips. So yeah, it's kind of luck-based, but, you know, it's not bad. It's going to do decent damage regardless, and if he hits if he hits 4 or 5 slashes, the last one spikes. So yeah. And with that, we're moving on to his grabs. Starting off with his grab animation itself for this attack, simply put, Zoroark just kind of holds the opponent by the shoulder. He doesn't do much, he kind of snarls at them, but other than that, it's pretty basic. His pummel has him perform a quick bite at the opponent's neck. It does like 1 or 2% normal pummel damage, but other than that, it's just a bite. Next up, with his forward throw, for this attack, Zoroark slashes at the enemy's gut quickly, not launching them pretty far forward. This attack, it just launches them in an angle to where you can combo with something like forward air. But other than that, it has really low knockback, so it's not going to be your kill throw. It just kind of looks cool in my opinion, though at least the way I'm picturing it. For his up throw, Zoroark tosses the opponent up and slashes them a few times. This attack deals more damage than it does knockback. It's a damage dealing throw, so yeah, use that when you're trying to rack up damage. That was a bit redundant, but regardless, thank you for sitting through that. Now for his back throw. For this attack, Zoroark kind of just teleports in a puff of smoke behind the enemy, and as soon as he does this, he appears behind them and kicks them backward. This is his kill throw. He can kill you at the ledge at like 80% with this throw. It's pretty good in terms of knockback, so yeah, definitely use this if you see the opportunity. And finishing things off with his down throw. For this attack, Zoroark knocks the opponent down and pummels them with a lot of slashes. This is also a damage dealing throw, but it also acts as a combo throw, so it knocks them up, allowing you to follow up with an aerial attack or something. I know I didn't go into a whole lot of detail with those grabs, because, as I said earlier, I'm kind of half asleep while recording this, so this isn't my best video by any means. But, yeah. That's all for his grapples, so yeah, let's move on to the big guns in terms of his special moves. As with a lot of the other Pokemon characters, a lot of his special moves are based off of different Pokemon moves in the game. And yeah, what better place to start off with his neutral special, which is Snarl. Now, before I get into what this move does, I'll kind of give each of the moves a brief description of how they function in the Pokemon games. With Snarl, what it does is it's a special attack in which if you hit the opponent with it, it lowers their special attack as well, so it weakens them as well as dealing damage. So, in terms of how it would function in Smash, when you use his neutral special, Zoroark howls in the air and a growing ball of darkness surrounds him, and it slowly starts growing, kind of like Hero's Magic Burst attack. If an enemy makes contact with this orb, they are slightly knocked backwards, and a status effect given by the enemy who was hit by the move, their special attack power lowers temporarily, and this effect can last 5 to 10 seconds. It makes their special moves about half as potent, so it could potentially save your life in specific scenarios. The knockback stays the same though, so just watch out for that. And yeah, other than that, it's pretty good. It doesn't do much damage or have much knockback. It's more for the status effect than anything. Just like how it is in the Pokemon games. Moving on to his side special, Dark Pulse. in the Pokemon games, this attack is just a special Dark-type move in which the Pokemon lets out a pulse of dark energy, which may cause the opponent to flinch. Now, in Smash, this is his side special, and how it works is, when the move is first used, Zoroark begins charging darkness energy in his mouth, and the move will charge until the special move button is let go, or until the move is fully charged, kind of like how Hero's side special works. And when the move is fired, Zoroark fires a large purple blast of energy forward in an arc, and the longer the charge determines how far and how powerful the move itself is. So yeah, it's just basically a projectile attack essentially, except it's a beam instead of a normal energy ball type of attack. Sorry if I didn't do the best at explaining that as well. For his up special, he has Night Daze. Now, in the Pokemon games, this was Zoroark's signature move until the Gen 7 legendary Lunala obtained it. But what it does is it involves Zoroark blasting a shroud of dark black mist, essentially, and it can lower the opponent's accuracy. Now, the way I implemented this as his recovery move, what it does is as soon as you press it, he disappears into a puff of black and purple smoke, and he disappears as soon as the move activates, and he reappears in whatever direction you choose. But the move itself does not do any damage, but instead it has a pretty big wind box. But it also doesn't put you into free fall, since it's just a small teleport. And finally, his down special. This is the one that I thought was the most enjoyable. Rather than based on a move, I based it off of Zoroark's signature ability, which is Illusion. Now, in the Pokemon games, what this does is it turns you into the Pokemon that's the last spot in your party. So say that my 6th Pokemon was a Flareon, and I sent out Zoroark. My Zoroark would look like a Flareon, but it would still have all the same moves. It would just be there to trick opponents. Now, in Smash, what this is it's a counter move, and as soon as you press it, Zoroark strikes a pose and surrounds himself with his dark mist, and as soon as he's hit, the opponent is knocked back, and Zoroark transforms to take the shape of the opponent who hit him. Now, sorry, the transformation lasts for like 10 seconds, and for those 10 seconds, you have the exact same moves, stats, speed, and everything as the character that you transformed into. The only difference is that you deal 20% more damage. So say a move did 10% damage, you would do 12% with it. So this just essentially makes you a slightly better version of the character that hit you. So it would help to know how to play a wide variety of all characters for this reason. Yeah, it's pretty good. If you're in the middle of an attack and the 10 seconds are up, Zoroark will just transform back after the attack is finished. But yeah, it's a counter move, but it's also a transformation, which I thought was really interesting. And yeah, with that, we are done with his moveset. So yeah, moving on to his stage and music. Starting things off with his stage, it would be the Team Plasma base from Black 2 and White 2. I just think that this could be a very neat stage. The idea of a scientific lab being a stage just sounds really cool. So I just think that would probably be one of the best choices, a nice new Gen 5 stage. Another good option would be the Ends Room area from the Gen 5 games, but I don't think that one's nearly as likely. I'm only going to name off one song because I'm kind of running short on time right now, but the song that I think would work best would be a remix of the Team Plasma battle theme, so I'll play that here. this episode isn't really as good. I kind of had to rush this out to get this out before I go on a trip. So I'm sorry that it's not super good, but thank you for checking it out anyway. Next week I have a very special character. I'm not going to spoil who it is yet because it's interesting, but all I'm going to say is that it's a character that is never going to get into Smash Brothers. So yeah, thank you guys for checking this video out, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.